After the death of her husband, Knight Geoffrey de Charny, Jeanne de Vergy found herself responsible for the upkeep of the collegiate church that her husband built under the orders from the king. So she organized a public exhibition in which a linen measuring 14.3 feet long and 3.6 feet wide was displayed. On the cloth, the blurred form of a naked human with traces of blood marked wounds on the head, hand, feet, and breast could be recognized. Wounds caused by nails or spear during crucifixion are clearly recognizable on the shroud. Soon the shroud was taken into possession by the Bishop of Troyes to stave off rumors that the piece was a forgery. Vergy herself could not provide information regarding how the shroud came to be in her husband's possession. The shroud itself has been damaged many times over the years by poor storage conditions or fire. The repairs and remaining traces of damage are now easier to see than the schematic impression of the dead body. The shroud was later taken to Turin and bequeathed to Holy See. It remains in Turin since then and is not accessible to the public. For many centuries, the authenticity of the shroud had only been discussed from a theological point of view. In 1898, the linen finally became the focus of scientific inquiry due to the photographs taken by a man named Secondo Pia. When he developed the pictures, he noticed that the man's body was much clearer in the negatives than in the prints. Many investigations in the following years were made on the basis of these negatives. Different methods were used to gather information about the cloth and its history. A Swiss botanist investigated the grains of pollen trapped in the material, concluding that the grains could only have come from the area around Jerusalem. The forensic medical investigation concluded that the body on the linen represented a man who died due to crucifixion and who had suffered numerous wounds from people-like instruments. He had worn a crown of thorns, and his death has been confirmed by a lance thrust to his side. These results were based on the traces of blood found on the cloth. Great media interest was awakened when the first radiocarbon dating of the shroud took place in laboratories in Oxford, Zurich, and Arizona. The results dated the production of the cloth to between 1260 and 1390 AD. This scientific proof seemed to confirm the cloth as a forgery. However, those supporting the authenticity of the shroud criticized the research protocols soon afterwards, some going so far as to accuse the researchers of fraud, perhaps achieved by switching samples. The most recent investigation used lignin-vanillin decomposition as a dating method. These results showed that the cloth was between 1300 to 3000 years old. While this makes it probable that the radiocarbon dates are in error, no further concrete results are forthcoming. Now, as in the past, the question remains unanswered as to how the image came to be on the linen. Although several scientific theories have been proposed, none of these have withstood closer examination. Statements from the Middle Ages saying that the image is a painting have been weakened by the absence of pigment particles. Other proposals, including chemical reaction caused by evaporation of aloe, which can be used to anoint a body before burial, have also proved to be unfounded. While experiments showed that evaporation did leave elements behind, the contrast wasn't nearly as strong as that of the image on the shroud. In addition to the question of how the linen came to be imprinted with this intriguing image, speculation continues as to how the shroud would have remained hidden for over 1300 years, as well as how it made it from Palestine to France at all. The question as to whether the man whose shroud has caused a stir for over 650 years really is Jesus Christ is also unanswered. What do you think could be the possible explanation to this? Do you think the shroud really belongs to Jesus Christ? Let us know in the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more such videos.